Hello, I'm Ken here at the Opelika Sportsplex and Aquatic Center. We're here for the 2023 Atlantic South Diamond Regional Pickleball Tournament. We have the privilege of speaking with Mr. Jim Young. Jim, tell us what your role is here at the Sportsplex.
Well, at the Sportsplex, I'm a volunteer.
Okay.
I'm the president of the Opelika Pickleball Club. Yeah, that's how you say it, Opelika. And we have over 500 members. And so to support the club and us working on these facilities, we raise money at tournaments and things like this. So for this, I'm normally the tournament director, but for this tournament, I'm operations manager because USA Pickleball has to have the tournament director.
So as USA Pickleball has rented the facility for the 4 days or 6 days at the...
Yes, there's a facilities agreement in place to allow them to hold that there. And we don't rent the place normally, but because of USA Pickleball, we will do that.
Okay, I understand. So let's talk about, so we're in a, let's see, we'll just start walking. We're in a facility here. There's 2 of these facilities or pavilions that have 12 courts. They're covered. What year was the first one built?
This one opened up like in 2020.
2020?
Right. We had our first tournament in March of 2021. 3 days later, COVID hit.
Oh my God.
We had 221 players and there was 12 courts. And then we had to shut down basically. But the next year, every year at the first weekend of March, we have what's called Paddles at the Plex. And that tournament has grown from the first year, which was 221. Last tournament we had 765.
Wow. And this year you had 765 in it? Now, you're drawing from how many countries are you drawing people from? Or how many states?
We're drawing anywhere between 20. This tournament has 20 plus states to 26, 28 states.
Okay.
But we've got people playing here from all over. We had somebody come in from Hawaii and they decided to stay for 3 years.
Oh my God.
You know, we got people from Illinois that are going on their way to Florida and they say, oh, well, it's too far to drive back to Illinois. We'll buy a house here and drive between here and Florida because it's only 3.5 hours.
There you go. So there was the vision to build the second pavilion in place before the first was, or because of the popularity, you said, hey, let's go ahead and build the second one?
The vision was not in place.
Vision was not in place. Okay.
No, we were having a conversation with a gentleman that I had no clue who he was, but he was our first investor, our first sponsor. And he said, what are you going to do with the money? I said, well, we're going to put in our restroom facilities and ask the city if we can give them $4,000 or $5,000 a year to pay back. He says, well, I can get you, he said, how much is that? I said, about 175, 200,000. He says, I get you half. You get the other half. So we started, and he started talking about how much money he could raise. And so I figured when he said that, I said, well, why don't we just put in 12 more pickleball courts? He said, well, how much is that going to cost? And I told him, and that was on a Tuesday, and on a Friday, we had the courts drawn up.
Oh my gosh.
So we've got real good community investments. We've got our city fathers foresaw this. I mean, I don't know how, but the mayor supports it, the city council supports it. I told my wife, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and I told my wife, I said, I lived in Memphis almost 30 years, and I never went to a city council meeting, neither did I have dinner with the mayor either. And I said, I've been here for 3 years, I've been to 5 city council meetings, been to the mayor's house 3 or 4 times. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, do you know approximately what it costs to put to build the first set of courts?
The first set of courts,
public knowledge, or?
Yeah, the first set of courts. See, the land is already here, so we didn't have to buy the land. But I think with the grading and all the structure, was somewhere around 800 to 900,000.
And then now you made a little bit of improvements. Is that correct?
Yes,
on the second,
that is correct.
Is there a little more space?
Yes.
Inside each court,
and a little different court surface.
And a different court surface, and you upgraded the lighting.
And we upgraded. Yes, we did.
And so, approximately, what did that cost to build?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was about $1.3 million to $1.5 million.
Okay. So, what has this complex done for the economy? Do you know?
I do know, because that's really my mentor, who is from Griffin, Georgia, that has a nice facility down there. Peter Phelps, told me, he says, you deal with this by economic impact, nights in the bed, stuff like that. So I started tracking, or we started tracking how many players we had, what their zip codes were. The Tourism Bureau works with me on that. But based on that, we were saying that 70 to 75% of all the players in the tournament were coming from over 80 miles away. And so we could estimate based on that how many hotel rooms and beds, and then we also have been doing surveys too. But the first year, I think our first tournament was, we figured that the economic impact was $20,000, $30,000 to the community. Last year, the economic impact was $800,000.
800,000? Jesus.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So how many tournaments do you host in a year?
Okay.
There's the Opelika Pickleball Club put on, and then the tournaments that are not put on.
I understand, yeah. So basically the club has a tournament every month. We do like a little round robin or mixers and stuff like that. And we'll draw anywhere from our little tournament, 60 to 150, 200 people, players that have to be club members. All right, so that's every month unless it's a month where we have a big tournament. We have paddles in the Plex Spring, which is the first weekend in March. We have paddles at the Plex Fall, which is going to be in September this year. We have to figure it around Auburn football schedules.
Got it.
And then, since this is the second year for this, we have not had paddles in the Plex Summer, but we normally have that. Excuse me. And we are now permanent hosts of the Alabama Senior Olympics.
Really?
Pickleball.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's great.
So at least four major tournaments a year. Okay. Plus all of the little stuff that we do, the little stuff. And when I say little stuff, we draw people from 152 from Atlanta, and that's 2 hours away.
Right.
You know, well, it's really an hour and a half.
Right.
Who cares? You know.
Right. So, but with a facility like this, because we actually played in the Paddles of the Plex this year. We played 3 straight years, and this year, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was Thursday, Friday. We had rain both days. It was just a total kind of a rain out day. But the tournament went on without you didn't miss a lick. You know, you just had to rush between courts. I think you guys even moved the information desk and everything under the new pavilion.
Well, yeah, we moved the tournament desk inside there, and then we have what's called a Vaptor, V-A-P-T-R, which picks up 90 to 95% of the water. So when everybody wasn't looking, we were up there cutting and scooping water up as quick as we can, because we didn't need those full courts, but that's where right now the water comes in. So we were keeping water off the courts up there, but we have never had to slow a tournament down because of rain or inclement weather.
And it probably, I mean, it probably helps with you don't have to surface the courts. You have to, because we're constantly replacing net straps, right? The sun wears them every 2 weeks. Every 2 months you're putting a new net strap in. So you may not have to resurface these courts for 15, 20 years.
No, we've had them come in, and when they were building those courts, come in and patch some stuff like in the concrete and stuff like that. But really, we've only had one little patch in a court, and that was just because it was cosmetic. We wanted them to take care of it.
But as far as the elements or anything, I mean, this is, your benches, your chairs, nothing's really going to rust. You're not having that issue that you have with the outdoor facility, but this really is an outdoor facility with the covering. And
I'm playing a lot of tournaments, and I haven't used any sunscreen this week.
I know.
Now, I'm not going to talk about the glare, because there is some glare, but I mean,
yeah, there's a little glare on both the front, and then you got the glare from.
When we built this building over here, that we noticed that during certain times of the year, the glare comes off of that. So we've evaluated and investigated what it's going to cost to block that glare, and that's on our project list for next year, or within the next 2 years. Right now, the cost to do that is $51,000. Now the club will pay for that. Okay. We just put the sound system in here. That was $23,000. Club paid for that. We put a gutter system up just now. That's $21,000. And for the last 2 years, we've given the city $60,000 each year. So yeah, we're paying our restrooms back, not at $5,000 a whack.
So is without getting too detailed in finance, was the city the major funder of the cost of this complex? And they're now reaping the benefits of.
That
You
is
know,
correct.
at what point will the city, 5 years, 10 years, get their money back in and see a profit?
Well, if you look at the economic impact, okay, and let's just say for round numbers that they did 2 million, $2.5 million
For everything, huh?
for everything. Let's just say. Now these additives that we put in here, the capital improvements, it belongs to the city,
Right.
but we're giving it to them.
Okay.
So if you take 800,000 for last year, and let's just say the year before was I think 400,000. So, and then if you start looking at how that is and compute it going forward, plus we've given the city $120,000 so far, and all of these capital improvements, it's not going to take long. 3 to 5 years. I would.
And that's not to even, correct me, the restaurant, the money that restaurants are making and paying taxes, the hotels are making and paying taxes.
Well, but it is because when I said the 800,000,
okay,
that's economic impact of the community, but that's local tax revenue.
got
Now,
it.
what that percentage is, I think it's 9%. So if you take 9% of that,
Right.
it dwindles. It makes it grow a little bit longer, but still,
Right.
they're getting their return on investment.
So what would you, to a city that is considering, I mean, obviously this is a win-win for both the city and, because you've got, like, we knew of Opelika because our son went to Auburn and we used to come and hang
War
out
Eagle.
here 10 years ago, but we didn't know that this was such the pickleball
Yeah.
capital of really the Southeast, the Gulf Coast area, maybe with the exception of Florida. I mean, you
Yeah.
guys, this has put you guys on the map, right? And the way pickleball is just taking off. I mean,
we had, I think, over maybe 50 to 100 teams on the wait list wanting to play.
yeah.
So
yeah.
ask me, have I asked for 12 more courts? Yes, I have.
Is it, so what is the future? Can you fit another 12 here?
I don't know what it is. The Parks and Rec director, who's a good guy, and he's a pickleball player. That's a whole nother story. I can tell you that one. But
Here, let's walk forward.
he's going to retire in 2 years.
Okay.
And so he's not really wanting to put, this is a good way to go out, a good positive to go out.
There you go. Here we go. Okay.
He's going to retire with that. And so we're just doing improvements and things like that and just going to carry it forward. The future we would like, I was told by USA Pickleball that you have to have, I think it's 48 courts and a championship court to get a tier 1 level
Tournament?
tournament. So, the future remains to be seen.
There you go. There you go. Well, I tell you what, we love it here. This is a great complex. You and your team just do a great job. We were just sitting over there waiting for the interview, hearing all the accolades and the praises. So, I mean, using that pickleball tournament software or similar software that you just get a text and you know when you're up, and everything runs really smooth.
Well, I understand the pickleball tournaments came down here in March, 3 days before COVID. Melissa McCurley came here and taught us how to do it. And she said, well, I won't have to come back. And I said, oh, we can't do this. And we've done it ever since then. And what part of my job as an ambassador, USA Pickleball ambassador, is to help other towns, because that was your question, help other towns and other clubs get started. How do you do this? How do you reach out to the city fathers? So my recommendation to them is to call me. I'll be glad to talk to you, and I'm sure we can put a little thing down there.
Sure.
And then I'll also be glad to come visit and talk to the city council. So,
gosh, well, I tell you what, we'd love to have you. We're at Pelican Park with 8 courts. They're talking about another 4, but that could be, if they could put 12, 16, 24 and have them covered like this. There's a, we could try to be what Opelika is to pickleball.
one thing that this will be funny. The town in Florida that's a beach town called me up and said, we want to know what your recommendations are. So we're going to put in 6 courts. What's your recommendations? I said, build more courts. That's what I just heard recently, which is great to hear, is that this town built 6 to 12 courts. And the people that had it built couldn't play because all of the younger people were in there playing and they could never get court time. And so the median age, of course, everybody always thought this was an old person sport. Now the median age is 48, I think, or even down. So, I mean, we had to split our tournament because you said the first one you came was 3 days.
Right.
Now there's 6 because we take the
Right.
60 over and then we take the 19 up, so that, and they fill it up.
Yep.
It used to be the other way around.
Yep.
So you know,
Yeah, come Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's gonna be even more packed
because they have to take off from work to come down here. So we try to take that in consideration and let them play on the weekends. So.
Well, I really appreciate your time.
Thank
gentlemen.
you so much.
Thanks so much for doing a great job. We appreciate it. From Opelika, Alabama, signing off.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.